Now then everyone, and you are back with the Hairy Pineapple. You guys are lovely, and we're going to talk about some anime. It's about a demon city. In case the title threw you off, it's about Demon City amongst a normal world. No scientist can explain the reason why things are happening the way they are in Shinjuku, and they also aren't really investigating it, it seems. As far as we're concerned, they're not. I feel. I hope somebody's investigating it, but it doesn't seem to be a thing. It just seems to be, there is this demon city, and there is a man named Rebi Ra who is kind of running the show there. He has been the chosen one by the demons, and he is running the city to create enough power to destroy the whole world. I think that's basically the gist of the whole movie. I, for one, am a really big fan of this, and I think it has a lot to do with nostalgia. When I look back on animes like this, anime movies and series, it always holds a special place in my heart because I grew up with these movies. I used to sneak into my brother's room, and he used to have this line of VHS tapes, all different epic animes, every single one of them. And I used to wait until he'd go out with his friends, and I'd be like, right, calling up some friends, call up my friend Niall, call up my friend Rob, whoever, ask them round. We go and sit down and enjoy an epic night of animes, or maybe just one, and then just soak it in for the rest of the night. This is one that really sort of impacted us as kids. Looking back recently, I watched it today, and I watched it 2 days ago, just to kind of get to grips with the details and things like that for you guys. There's a few holes, but I'm going to get into that in a minute. At the moment, I'm just going to tell you the reasons why it's very good. It's very good because the background animation and the background design, the art that's gone into the background design, much like a lot of old school animes like that, that you can see the effort and passion that's gone into it. It really seems that there's a lot of artists from back then who were working on animes that really poured a lot into the backgrounds to make the setting just right. So then any story told is going to seem a lot better, because there's so many these days, even as simplistic as when you look at kids programs and you look at the background, it's always a repeated background, goes through, and it's always really simplistic drawing, like a house or something like that. And when you look at animes, you can tell that it was a genre or a small cult following that was made for older audiences, or at least ones who appreciate that style. When we go on to the story is very simple, but it's told in such a way that that it has a lot more to it, and it's easy to follow, and you don't really have to put any effort into listening. It's just, you can get to grips with the story even if you're barely listening. So if you want something in the background that you can watch with your friends, you know your friends are going to talk, you're going to have a bit of crack and a bit of banter during a movie, this is one that you could definitely put in the background and still know what's going on. I'd highly recommend it. I'd probably say it's definitely a solid 8 positive cheese out of a possible 10 crab men, and that'll all make sense when you watch it. honestly, it's a very good anime, and I think it's worthy of a watch with you or with your friends, or with, you know, with somebody who wants to get into anime. These first few videos that I'm going to be doing are all around, you know, first timers or people who are just mad and looking for the next fix, because I think that that's the best way about it, because I'm new to YouTube, you're new to anime. It's a cool thing that we can kind of share together, or if you're looking for a new thing and you're already into anime, then again, I'm new to it, you're new to this. So honestly, jump on it. I think at the moment you can watch it on YouTube, so just keep that between us. Right, spoiler alert. So the story starts with this kind of like main standoff battle. Epic, there's lightning, cool music in the background, very 80s-esque, even though at the end of the 80s, it's 1988 and this came out. And we have these two guys battling each other, and one of them is Rebira and one of them is Kayuyo's dad. I actually can't remember his name. So we go on with this, and what happens is like Rebira slices his arm off. He's there with a sword, which is massive, and Kayuyo's dad is there with a wooden stick. Now, he seems to emit this blue aura, so you're thinking, you know, he might do something. And what happens is that, like, he doesn't do anything. Rebira basically states that he's going to be the new evil of the world. He's been chosen to take over the Demon City, and the demons have accepted him as, like, I guess, like, he's the main guy of the show. He's running the place, you know, big man on top, big man Japan. and yeah, just kills him and throws him down a kind of city cliff. It's not a real cliff. It's like it's off a building into darkness, so it's like a city cliff, I guess. And that's it. So then there's an explanation about what's going on, and we move on to Kayuyo, main guy. He's there teaching Kenpo to kids. Okay. So his dad died and he took over his business. And then you later found out he actually thought his dad was missing. So he is, he's then told that he was murdered by the demons and everything like that. He thinks that this old guy who just appeared out of nowhere is lying. He then reveals himself to be his dad's teacher. And he was also Rebira's teacher as well. So he taught them both. One went the bad way. Kayuyo's character is very sort of like cocky and just like, I don't care, standoffish, very implicit of what like, you know, a lot of characters were like in animes around that time, especially in the 90s as well. He's playing that character and he goes off on his bike, cycle. I'm guessing a lot of Japanese people cycle, or it's a whole care of the environment thing, because a common thing with animes around that time, a bit before and a bit after, is that a lot of them have to do with being nice to animals, being nice to the environment, and I don't know, just overall being a good person. They try and teach some sort of moral values as a point to, you know, the movie or series that you're watching. It's very good, I think, the way that they do that, because it's, I don't know, I think you should have an undertone of moral values when you're making a movie or series or something like that, because, you know, it's a teaching point for young adults, and it's a teaching point for, like, you know, younger kids that are growing up as well. Although younger kids wouldn't be watching this, but I did, so I can't really tell other people not to. Try not to watch it if you're underage. So they carry on, and he's on his bike. He then sees the beautiful lady who we saw on the TV, who was joined by the president. The president gets like taken in these like tentacly ink things. Like there's a lot of these in Demon City. It's just kind of like sharp, long, black things, and I think it's supposed to kind of represent the embodiment of darkness, I guess. When Demon City got took over, a lot of people went wild, a lot of people lost their souls, and a lot of people, you know, ran away, because that would be the normal reaction. So he's watching the TV, and then there's this cafe woman, right? This cafe woman. This is the most weirdest thing about the whole movie, right? So there's this cafe woman, and she's talking to Kaiyo, and whenever she talks, I can't help but laugh, because she has the most Southern American accent ever.
He's a damn sight bigger deal than you are.
Whenever she opens her mouth, the Harry Pineapple's laughing. Harry Pineapple's, you know, trying to get through this, but he can't help but laugh. Anyway, to get back off this tangent, Kaiyo's on his bike, not on his back, he's on his bike, right? Sees the woman, they have a little, like, you know, back and forth. She says, you know, she wants to go to Demon City. He's like, well, it's full of demons. You don't want to go there. You're going to die. And she's like, we have to save everybody. And he's like, I don't care. Because that's what he's like at the minute. He then leaves. She goes to Demon City regardless. She's going through. You can see some stuff going on in the background. She sees this this food stand. She goes up to them and she's like, have you seen Rebi Ra? Because that's what people do back then. They just got straight to the point and asked people who are around, have you seen the guy that I'm looking for? Because I'm gonna hurt him real bad. When I don't really know what her objective is to do with Rebi Ra once she actually gets there. Once she gets face to face, what is she going to do? Your man says, yeah, I've seen him, I'll take you to him. So, I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, hon, this is an obvious trap. Can you just not be this gullible? So it takes her into an alleyway, because obviously that's where Rebi Ra is. Takes her into the alleyway, and then two of the guys turn up. I'm guessing they were the guys who were like jumping all around in the background and stuff, because I said you see some stuff in the background. It's them. They are about to do something bad, but then Kaiyo turns up at the right time, because he's a hero. And his attitude's kind of changed a little bit, I guess. Anyway, gets to the point of, like, you know, getting to the next stage of finding where Rebi Ra. Asks the guy's threatened by this, you know, by this amazing wooden sword. And then, you know, guides him to the next place. They go, there's this woman, there's this old woman that they go see. She knows what's going on, but like she gets them to pay them money. She tries to double cross him, runs away, but Kaiyo's there straight away like a cool motherfucker, you know, gets to the next stage. Like, this is all very quick. It's like It's like next bit, next bit, next bit, next bit, and it's like little bits of dialogue in between to kind of get you to the next part. To skip forward, they get to finding like where Rebira is. I don't want to spoil too much. That's a cool little bit. You need to see what's going to happen there. And then at the once they find Rebira, it's pretty easy how Rebira defeats him, because he sticks him with his wooden sword, goes through him, and then like the wooden sword then breaks. Rebira's laughing like, it's gonna take more than that. You know what I mean? Rebira, man. Motherfucking Rebira. Basically, like, throws Kayuyo the same way through his dad, and it almost seems like it's in the same place too, even though it doesn't look like the same place where they fight. But that's anime rules, guys. That's old school anime rules. It doesn't matter where something is, because you can't reference that yourself. Manga will reference it for you. They'll tell you that where you thought something was isn't where it is. The size of something isn't the size that it actually is, because it's going to be a different size in the next frame. So don't try and know old school anime when it's going to tell you. Once you find out the answers, it's going to change the questions. So throws him aside, he goes down the cliff, everything is lost, all and done. Your woman is like bound, she's going to be the sacrifice. He even says it really quickly. It's like he binds her in, like, you know, very sort of like Thanos-esque, binds her in chains, and she's going to be the sacrifice to like all of the demons to accept the new power in the world. And then so now she's going to be sacrificed. Now, to my knowledge, what was coming down from the sky was coming very, very fast. However, you know, anime changes the rules, like I said. So, it didn't come down as fast as what I saw. I'm obviously mistaken. And she has a lot of time, because Kayuyo has time to fall, gain consciousness, crawl across, slip down a hill, walk across a little bit more junk, walk up a little junk pile, find his father's sword, gain the power of the sword, and then enlightenment to the whole chi and is it Kenpo or Kenbo? I can't remember. I'm just gonna say Kenpo. To the whole Kenpo way. Now he's gonna like, and I think like he even has a last moment of immaturity, because he says, "Now my father's power is mine," and his father's voice is in his head, and basically says like, "No, don't do that. Give in to the power and respect it, and don't think that you control it. Flow with it, and know that you're doing this for everybody in the world." And then it's a weird moment, like it's really cheesy. He kind of goes, "Thanks, Dad." Really cheesy. So he then finds his way to the top of the building again, and whatever's come down from the sky to sacrifice his new love didn't actually get down to the bottom yet still, so we're still good. And I was actually sat here waiting for this, because I was thinking like, oh yeah, this was an epic battle, I remember it as a kid. It wasn't an epic battle. In one move, splits him in half. Splits Rebira in half, and then saves the day. That's it. Clouds are gone. Demon City is now back to just Shinjuku, and the world is now saved. And I was thinking like, well, that's still pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. I'd probably only give it 6 out of 10 if I was to rate it like a normal person, rather than these weird ratings that I do. But Then at the end, it sets up for a sequel that I would have liked to have seen. I'm going to do some research to find out if there was ever a sequel or a series or anything like that. I know there was an RPG made of it. Now, somewhere down the way, we're going to play this RPG because I want to see that. An RPG made most likely in the 90s, because it came out in 88, they would have to develop it. Yeah, it probably came out in the 90s. Could be for the PlayStation. There was a lot of games, unknown games for the PlayStation. A lot of unknown Japanese games too. So I'm gonna have to do some research and find out if I can find Demon City Shinjuku for, I'm guessing, the PlayStation. So that's my full review. Please like and subscribe. Comment below if you'd like any new reviews of things that you know that you'd like to see in the future. Also comment on your favourite parts of this movie if you've already seen it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it now. Come back, let me know what your favourite moments were, and also let me know if you can keep a straight face while watching that waitress. I'll see you in the next one, guys. You guys have been lovely, and I've been the Hairy Pineapple. Thanks a lot for watching.